Welcome, welcome. So I am working on a Amiga 2000 HD. I pulled this apart with my friend Wolf. We're going to take this caddy out, which holds the floppy and the optical drive. So there's a screw here, there's a screw here, 1, 2, 3.
4 on the back.
And then on the back side, we'll do these 4 here. And then this whole piece right here, when we pull these 4, will come out. And that's so we can get to the battery and we can clean the motherboard and see if there's any damage from electrolytic fluid from the bad battery that has died many years ago, I'm sure. We took a bunch of components out and then we cleaned the motherboard with some white vinegar to neutralize the battery leak, because the battery, corrosive base that is in the battery. It is base, not acid, we learned doing a little research. And the acid in the white vinegar neutralizes the base and keeps the copper traces from being further corroded, slows it down anyway. So we cleaned it all up, we did the thing, but in the process of taking the, looking at the CPU socket, which is a very common problem, these batteries leak and it damaged the 6800 CPU socket. So as we pulled the chip out, we saw little pieces of metal from the chip socket, the receptacle side broke. So we were kind of like, okay, it's probably dead. And sure enough, when we put it all back together, plugged it back in, we got a white-black alternating screen, which I think is systematic or consistent with that problem. So the board needs to have that socket reseated, removed and reseated. I've not done a lot of board level soldering. That's something on my radar to do later. I don't really want to dig into that just yet. There's a lot of pins to do and all that. And there's a lot of people out there that are still doing board level repair, either running traces or just, reseating sockets, things like that, or resoldering sockets. So I found a company, a gentleman who will handle that. It's pretty inexpensive. I think it's like 80 bucks to have it done, but I have to take the computer apart, take all the components out, all the cards out, pull the motherboard out of the case, ship it up, box it up and ship it to him. In addition, I thought I would do the power supply as well. These are very specific power supplies. You can't just put any general like AT or XT or whatever style power supply in. They have some kind of custom things in there apparently for the Amiga. So my plan was to go ahead and pull the power supply as well, box that up and send it along, and for another 80 bucks, 100 bucks, he'll replace the capacitors in the power supply. So that's my plan. So let's take a look at the machine. I'm just going to share mainly for my own records where everything goes. When I put it back together, I remember, because I'm not as familiar with Amigas as I am with Ataris, and it's more like a standard PC. This is a case with slots and the whole thing. And this machine actually has some pretty cool options in it. The cards that happen to come with it are kind of fun. So let's take a look. Okay. I've already pulled out the optical drive here, the CD drive, and that plugs in via this ribbon connector here, which comes over here from the SCSI controller card, and this obviously sits down in here, and then this other piece sits here, and remember right, something like that in general though, but then this will of course, oh hello, let's orient the right way, my bad. Yeah, that way. So this fits in these, there's grooves here and tabs here, and so these will go here and here, and this of course will plug up here. So that's kind of just a refresher where I'm at. I've already taken the cover off, of course, nothing else too detailed, too involved. So I'm setting these aside. And I have a baggie for all the screws and parts, so I'll remember. And then I just went ahead and used a screwdriver to start pulling these cards loose. There's these 2 cards here. One is a RAM card. I believe this is a big RAM card. And the other card, I do not know. I think that's an I/O card. I have to look at that. Yeah, it looks like some sort of I/O or serial card here. And this is the SCSI card. So I think just these 3 cards. And looking at these, the RAM card is in that first slot, full-length slot there, so that should be pretty easy. I do see this bar here. I don't know if that bar has to come out to remove the card. It doesn't seem to be, but no, I'm not sure. It may just be there for some kind of support or ground or something. I'm not sure. I do have to unplug once again. We already did this once before, but I have to unplug the power supply here from the motherboard. That's a bit tricky. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull these cards out this time before I do that. It's going to make my life easier, I think. And really all I have to do, yeah, because I got to take all this out to take the motherboard out anyway, so not going to matter. So yeah, let me, I'm going to wiggle and see what happens here. I don't want to go too crazy. So this doesn't have a support in the back, it's just here and goes. So let's see what happens if I lift up on this card slot. It's been in there a while. Alright, it seemed to come out pretty easily. Yeah, so that was pretty simple. So SuperCorp, that is my 2468 meg RAM, I believe. I don't know what the RAM is right now. Let me see if I can read the numbers on there. Can't tell. So, but if it's 8 is the max, so 2468. So it's probably got 2 megs, and probably I can go up to 8, I'm assuming, because this board does show 2468 there. So there you go. So set that aside. So this must be just a support card, or support for this other card. I see that there. Looks like I can pull that card out without getting to it. So whatever this secondary card is, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that little guy out. Came out pretty easily. Whatever that is. Okay. Here's that card. Multi-face card 3. So I have to do a little research on that guy. I have no idea what that does, other than I see looks like serial and all that good stuff there. And I see, looks like it says serial here under this serial 0, SER0 here. So possibly that's what that is. But yeah. This is Rev 3, copyright 1993, BSC. So yeah, I have to do a little looking up on that card, see what its function is. And now we're down to the very important card, the SCSI card, which in this case has the drive actually screwed to the card. I've not seen that before. It's kind of interesting. And I might look at getting a SCSI to SD solution for this, but I see power here, so I suppose I could go ahead and pull this power connector. This is coming from where? This is coming from the switch over here, so it's off the board here, and then runs up here to the power switch on the exterior, and then comes back to this. So we'll see how that goes. The red wire is facing the connector. That's the chip. Sorry, it's facing the connector in. And it's just, oh, I didn't see which way it was, but I assumed it was on these two. It might be here, it might be there, so I'll have to review the video to make a point, because I don't remember. I didn't see that when it came across. So that'll be something to review as I put it back together. And then looking at this, I'll probably label this with some tape. I'll pause that and do that now while I'm thinking about it. Okay, I made a little label here. SCSI card. So I'll remember that's where that goes at a later date. So now I should be able to pull that card out. I think there's one more power connector down below. Yeah, I'm going to lift it up and do that because that'll be easier. I'm not going to take the drive loose because I think it's going to work, and I want to use it with this actual physical disc for a while once I get the machine up and running. Assuming all goes well with the board repair. If not, oh, I've got a bunch of parts. Here we go. Let's see what we can do here. This is an important card. Don't want to break anything. I see a big connector down there. It's kind of interesting. All right, let's see what we can do here. It's on the outside, so I think I'm safe lifting. So I'll be safe here. Yeah, I feel it moving. So these are old. I don't know how brittle they are. All right, good. So I'm free, and there should be power. That's interesting. Oh, it gets its power from the card slot. That's really cool. I like this. So yeah, really just this. This is just the end of the bus, basically. You know, it comes from the card, controller card, your slot, controller card, straight to the drive, and when then the power comes off the card itself. That's really spiffy. So, I mean, obviously it's still pulling from the power supply, but that's very handy. All right. And that is a Data Flyer Expansion Systems SCSI card. Let's see, you've got a quantum drive there. Power ELS. Trying to see a capacity. Yeah, I can't tell by looking at this. It's got an apple there. That's funny. Alrighty. So yeah, I don't have to worry about power there. So now I'm just ready to get this power connector from the board loose. That's always not fun at all. Let's see what we can do. So I'm going to a couple of gadgets here. Try it. Now the good news is I just took this loose. Wolf and I, my friend Wolf, helped me pull this out the other day. So we did get her done. So it should be quite easy to get it done again. Let's see what happens here. Get down in there. It's not a fun proposition, I see. Let's see if I can move this out of the way. Start at one end and come up maybe. I need a really big screwdriver, that's what I need. There it goes. I feel it moving past the point. I don't want to break the board, of course. That would be no fun. I think we're past the point. I just give it the last little bit here. Always so scary. Trying to look at it. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of ready to go. It needs more on this end, actually. This end here. And probably a bigger screwdriver would be a little more exciting. There it goes. I think that should do it. There we go. Alright, so that's getting that little guy loose. This here, this little catch. Part of me says life would be easier if we just ground that thing off. You never know, you know. Checking that we have enough light in there. I feel like we do. And what I could do this rotate this just a bit more. More down. That might make it a little more visual. Let's see. It's not too bad. All right. So next. I can see this. I'll pull this through the case just to get out of the way, and I see this other connector here will need to come off the motherboard, so we might as well take care of that. Now this time I'll be a little more careful. The two wires are on the end there, black to the rear. Oh, it's 3, so that's pinned with black to the rear. That should be easy enough. So let's take that out. And black to rear. Okay. So I'm going to mark that on tape just so I remember it. Okay, I have marked that wire black to rear, so I know it goes there through our hose there. Spider web. So I actually got this machine as part of the kind of a combination deal. I went down to Mississippi, of all places, to pick up a Falcon 030 computer. And basically for the money of the Falcon, I got this computer and a whole bunch of other musical equipment, as all just basically cleaning out this guy's collection because he was ready to get out of it. He's getting older and had decided to sort of retire from retro computing. So that's how I got this. So it's kind of important that I get this machine working perfectly without spending a lot of money, because if I get a working Amiga 2000 out of the deal, then it's a win-win, a double win. Otherwise, I just sort of broke even paying what I could sell the Falcon for. But if I get this, which is worth $800 to $1,000 once restored, that's cool for me as a collector, and I get to use it and enjoy it, and then I'll do some modifications and stuff. They do make a high storm board for this now, and then at some point I can perhaps sell this later in my life. But I want to use it. I want to enjoy it. I want to play with it. Never really did much Amiga. I've got Amiga 500. This would be fun to look at. All right. So now we actually pulled this before. I think we just did these guys here. So let's do it. I'll take these two here. Now what I'm going to do also is put some of these screws back. After I pull some of these things. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just pulling the two screws behind the power supply here. I think that just lifts up. I know the whole car lifts up, but whether or not that comes loose, I do not remember. Alright, so that's 100% free. Let's see what else is holding it. Nothing here, nothing there. I think it's just tight. I think give it a moment, we'll do it. So obviously this caddy and all that's there. Let's just kind of yank on it and see what happens. Yeah, it's just tight in there. It basically just lines up with that corner and just comes out. And there you go, a power supply. So that power supply is now ready to send out. And I probably could pull the ribbon cable from here. Probably shall. So that one was what was going through the that metal framework and hooking into. Trying to move my SCSI card over here. And hooking into the floppy, if I remember right. Yeah. And we had originally made a note that the red wire bottom side and the notch on the bottom of the floppy. So if you look here, There's a little notch there in the connector. It's not an actual, oh, these notches here, yeah. And the red wire on the bottom. And if I'm trying to remember, a notch, yeah, on the button side. I said button side. So yeah, red wire on the button side. So red wire, I wrote red wire on the button side, which is there. So then when we plug this back in, we know it goes like that, and the notches on the bottom. So it's, and then on this side, the red wire is going to the back of the board. This should not be keyed, it should just come up, I do believe. Let's just lift up and see what happens. Yeah, it's coming straight out very easily. And that's easy. I do see one pin is plugged, so I assume that is the way. That that is not actually an active pin. It doesn't look like anything broken, so I'll double check that later. All right, let me pause this for a moment. All right, so now hopefully things are straightforward. Just taking all the motherboard screws out. Got here and there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like about 9. Take the one out in the middle to begin with. So putting these over here. Let's set these aside. One down. Let's see what happens. 2. Get this guy here. They seem to be nice and magnetized. That's handy. Here's the 68,000. There's where the battery was. We already cleaned all this and we removed the CPU, but I went ahead and stuck it back in, so I'll leave it when I send it, of course. And let's see here. Another. It says burn in there on that label. I wonder what burn in means. Copyright Commodore 1988. There's a Rev 6 motherboard, B2000 CR, Haney Fisher, Rev 6. So this is a Rev 6 motherboard. I see it listed in 2 places, which I think is a good thing. I think 6 is a later Rev. Pretty cool machine. The HD just denotes hard drive, I believe. So I assume these were sold in a non-hard drive configuration without the card. Of course, now we can get solid state replacements for all that, or you know, SD or CS storage. And I think that is all. I don't think I missed any. Looking about, looks pretty good. So let's see if it lifts up at all without much complaints. Yep, this feels pretty good. There's a little bit of connection in the back. I may have to actually do something in the back, so I'm going to look at that because I have no idea. Yeah, there's a possibly this, not that. I don't see anything there. No, I think it's just logistics. To get that board out of there, it's probably going to come up and then move my direction just enough to get free. and I'm not quite sure how one goes about that. But there's a, you have to take that back off and then take it out the rear. Let's see, let me look at that more closely. No, I don't see any way. I think it's all, this is all one contiguous piece of metal. I don't see any way to move that. Yeah, so it's gotta come out as is. So just a learning process. Might have to consult the Book of Faces. Yeah, that was it. Just sort of up and out. And then I can come straight out like that. And there you go. We now have a case. Yeah. There's the rear, of course. And that's just the power and hard disk activity on the front right there. The power switches on the power supply. Yeah, let's take a look at that while we're at it. So I noticed the motherboard sits in this metal shielding, which is nice. Yeah. So there you go. A removed Commodore 2000 HD motherboard ready to be shipped off to be repaired. So he'll have to clean the areas that are damaged here, all this area. And then at some point after he resolders this CPU connection, I think he will cover the top of this with nail polish, clear nail polish, which is just seals it from air, which keeps the copper from deteriorating over time, even if you've neutralized the acid. Okay, one final step before I ship out this Amiga 2000 motherboard for the 6800 socket repair to be replaced and changed out. The motherboard is mounted on a metal plate. They have the connectors for the things on the back, so all the connections on the back. So I need to remove that. Actually, I'll show you here. So one last thing to do before I ship out this Amiga 2000 motherboard. It's mounted on this metal plate, and these connectors on the back. I've got to remove these nuts here and along the front and back for the ports, and remove the actual PCB from the metal backing. The tech that I'm sending out to that's going to do the soldering job to resocket the 6800 said that it's a very dense motherboard, so it should be fine in shipment without the metal, and obviously the weight would be nice to not have to ship that extra weight, change the cost maybe. So anyway, I'm going to take that apart now, so check it out. So I'm going to try using these various pliers and things I have here, get a little better lighting on the subject. That should be a little better. I'm not at least standing in front of all the light, so shouldn't be too hard to do. These little nuts here hopefully come off pretty easily. It's got some super glue or something on there, metal. Let's see what I can do by just turning this. That was easy enough. Since I don't have the right size actual nut. Probably not the most compelling video one can create, but I'll speed this up to save us some time. Right, pretty good. And once these are finger tight, it should just come off. Shouldn't be that hard. And I'm one of those that when I plug in my connectors, I hardly ever actually thread them into these guys. But their main purpose is to obviously keep it against the metal. So I've got one more here on this side. All right. Flip it around and get this side loose. Still a bit tight. Slip, slip, slip. Come on, you can do it. Add buying a small set of sockets for my kit. Obviously, would be nice. This is the sort of thing I don't care about the cosmetics of these nuts getting slightly scuffed. They're not going to be damaged in any way. Their functionality will not be hindered. Yes, a purist should do it with the right wrench. I understand this, but it really won't affect anything otherwise. These are pretty loose. Probably won't be fun putting them back on. That one must not have broken loose. It don't want to move. There it goes. Okay, so I forgot that one. I did not. All right, so I got all those out. So now I've got to remove it from its housing. Now this part seems easy enough. This part seems like you would just bend it. Kind of a guess because it's thin. This side is somewhat thin. And just sort of a guess, but this being so long this is, I'm thinking that it makes more sense to pull this edge out first, since there's just 3 connectors and they're pretty flat. Like that should bend outward pretty easy from, yeah. And that should make the board free, should be able to lift up. This is something I'm unaware of. Yeah, so it's up, out, and away. And now we have just the PCP for soldering. So yeah, it is pretty rigid. So that's what I'll do. Box that up for shipping. All right, I've got the board ready to be boxed up, separated from that. So let's see how we do. There you go. Commodore Amiga 2000 HD motherboard ready to be shipped off for repair, to get that socket soldered, removed and replaced. It's right here. Hopefully the pins on the CPU itself are not damaged. I may pull that out since it's loosely in the socket. At it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and click subscribe. I'll let you know. We'll follow up on this later, how this comes out.
Click switch.
All right, so we've got the Amiga 2000 HD all back together after coming back from repair shop. They've soldered a new battery and new CPU socket, and we think it's all where it goes. And we got a monitor, no keyboard or mouse, so we can't really do anything too exciting, but we're gonna fire it up and see if it comes alive.
Ready?
Wait 1 second, let me switch my okay, roll.
All right. Clicking.
Ooh, there's a light. Oh, there's a screen. Come on, it's some composite video, so who knows. And the drive, we don't know what's. Oh, look at that! It's all the ROMs.
Saw the ROMs.
This is good, right?
That's good. Okay, it's asking for a disk. This is very good, because, but what
The SCSI might find itself, right?
the SCSI may find itself once if the drive. Oh, well, I can tell you one thing's happening. Drive ain't spinning.
So we should check power and the seating of the card, maybe?
Actually, what we probably want to do is turn it back off for a minute. Fans and power supply don't sound nice. That's good. But yeah, that's why it's asking for a disk, because it has not spun the drive. But it's definitely pulled, you know.
I do have an Amiga disk in there we can drop in a game or something.
Well,
see if it auto loads. You know.
What I want to do is.
So we're doing the tap test. We beat the drive. Is it spinning now?
Sounds like it might be. Let's see.
Barely tapped it. It's been sitting for 30 years, so.
Okay, no, not yet. So I don't feel any vibration on it. This drive could be dead. Be honest.
Yeah, it's been a while, so it's very possible.
I don't even hear it trying to click over.
Has it got power to it?
It does, because the power comes from the card.
Right, but do we see a light on the?
No, I don't see a light, but there are no lights on here to see.
Oh, look at that.
There's actually
a CD
photographic clip art. Okay, but we know that actually
is powered and running.
Right.
And it seems.
But it's not a bootable.
Yeah, we don't know until we get a.
It's not bootable, but you know, but this should be the access light for the. Yeah, I'm feeling we may need to. You know, I'm feeling like we might have a dead drive. But unfortunately, have to take it out to do, which that's actually pretty easy.
Well, let's take a look at that. We'll come back. So yeah, what we did was we pulled the drive and card out. It's all one assembly, and we realized the power supply that comes from the card was not plugged into the drive. So that could be it.
So now we need to get this back over here to the.
We'll get back to the CD-ROM, so we can look at our clip art.
We want.
I'm kidding.
You know, well, but now what we want to see now is we want to hear that drive go. Zzz. We want to hear some drive spinnage once I get this back.
Putting on the power indicator, read-write access indicator.
Yeah, it's going to be
the red to the rear. Yep.
Okay.
All right, so we're back where we were, but now we actually have the SCSI drive.
Hopefully powered up.
Powered up. So we're going to hit the power. Let's see what happens. Here we go. We hear drive bzzing.
Don't feel it vibrating as though we're going to spin. We know it's got the power now. So it's probably going to prompt us for the workbench install.
Seems slower than last time, like it's not posting now. Oh, there it goes.
No, it's. You're right. It does seem slower now. Maybe it's
got a problem.
I don't know. It shouldn't. We didn't do anything different. Yes,
That's what happened when the CPU didn't work. That's sort of what we saw before. Interesting. Okay.
It's very interesting because all we did was lift the card.
Let's pull it out and fire it up and see if the ROM's post, and then
right. Okay, yeah,
and then reseat everything and see what happens.
Yeah, we can lift it without actually. We can lift it easily enough. Let's just
okay, roll them.
Let's just test the Let's just make sure it comes.
We've got the card loose. We're just going to see if it posts and see what we get.
Oh, that was something unique.
And what would cause that?
I don't know. We're about to try again now.
Is that normal?
That was very unusual. I mean, it tells me the ROMs are working and the CPU is working.
I mean, it wasn't actually seeing.
Okay,
it wasn't actually seeing the software in the.
No. Okay. So.
Is it something to do with since it didn't boot the first time? Later?
Possibly, but it's possible, or it could just be.
Okay, rolling. I don't know why it's such a noisy.
Oh, that's your power supply fan. Nope, it's still not registering. Still not registering the floppy at all. Now, that doesn't mean that this floppy wasn't broken to begin with.
Yeah, he recapped it, but I don't know if he tested it extensively or not.
I don't know if he had a way. Yeah, that'd be something I would ask him if he had a way to test this floppy to see whether it was really.
All right, we're powering up again. We tried a different connector.
You can hear the CD-ROM polling. But that's still a negative on the floppy. Still a total neg on the floppy. Yeah, it's
just going to take it out because for now we're not going to be doing that.
Right.
So sad. And how do we know it's plugged? We actually got it in the right port on the board.
Well, the other thing we can try is let's make sure we have the right. Let's try the other connection here.
But they should both be good.
They should both be good, but.
And we said red toward the button.
Right. So it would have to be like this. But yeah, just because we're running out of other options, let's try it and see. Because this one's got the flip on there, so that might mean that one is specifically for
another thing.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're about to find out.
That maybe I remember hearing something about that, so that could be it. As long as we didn't burn it up.
Well, wouldn't burn it up. It The other thing is we just don't know if this floppy was ever good to begin with.
Doesn't seem to be alive.
It doesn't seem to want to do so.
We're trying the hard drive. We actually got power to it this time. Let's see.
Did I clean it? Oh!
I hear the scuzzy sound. Oh yeah, baby.
I hear.
Let's see if it sees it.
I hear noises.
I heard it go tick, 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 tick. There's it spinning. I hear it spinning.
I heard the heads moving. Yep.
Come on, ROMs. There's light on the front. We have activity.
Okay, you have that. Oh, I think it's booting. I think.
Why no video? Oh! Kickstart. Look at.
Okay, that's okay.
Oh, I got a mouse in the room. Now we need the mouse. Workbench is loading for the first time in, gosh, I don't know how many years this thing has been.
Oh, we know it belonged to Brian.
Yeah, I knew that because Brian is the man. He's the one I got it from.
All right, so let's put that disc in and see if it reads it now.
Okay, try it.
Just
and we can try the CD-ROM too, I guess.
Yeah, we can.
But just see if it. What's TFO? Is that the floppy?
That should be the floppy, but see, it's got question marks.
And we need. So maybe it didn't see it.
Maybe it may not be seeing the actual mechanism for something, but we know the machine's working. That's.
Yeah, let's get a mouse on it. What do you say?
Yeah, let's get.
All right, so now we got our mouse.
Yeah, there we go.
And what do we got?
There, it's working.
Oh, look at that! It's kind of moving around.
Yeah, no, it's working. It just had to put, the mouse has to be in the left-hand port though.
Okay, left-hand port.
Yeah, it has to be in that one.
Yeah. Let me down there and see. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
The one
Joystick in the right, I assume.
Well, you can actually put joysticks in both, but you'd have to pull them. But all right, so
hard drive. Oh, look at that! Look at all his toys.
So there's got all kinds of stuff in here. Yeah. All right, but let's see if the CD-ROM will read now.
Sounds pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty sketchy.
But these are SCSI CD-ROMs. There, you can actually.
I got a bunch of them that may still work.
Right.
It's been a while though.
Let's see. Let's close that. Let's see if actually it pops.
That middle one. This is Brian's Amiga, or
that's the one we were just looking at. Yeah. I'm looking to see if the CD-ROM.
So that's a RAM disk, and then the one this is Brian's Amiga is a hard drive.
Right. So yeah. So he's got. Well, yeah. The one that wants says Brian's Amiga is the hard drive. I'm looking to see if it. I'm looking to see if it actually
loads the.
It loads the CD-ROM. Yeah. Because so that would be the floppy, which is not there. So in theory, it should show up here, but that doesn't. I don't know if you have to do something fancy to get it to
read a CD-ROM. Yeah.
To read the CD, I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, or the CD-ROM, the way it sounds, it could be
dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it could. I mean.
It opens the tray, but it may not actually spin up. Or...
Well, I'm going to look. Okay, let's index the disk. Let's see if it even spins. Let's put the disk in exactly straight. Close it. Let's see if it actually.
Nothing happening up here.
See, I don't feel anything happening here. All right, let's eject it.
But the bus seems to be working.
Right. Well, it did rotate. It did rotate.
Alrighty. I don't know how you make it. I see the light on the front.
Yeah, the front light. Yeah, but I don't feel any interesting vibrations or anything. So I don't know exactly what's in. I mean, obviously we know the SCSI's working because the hard drive is working.
It blinked a little bit and stopped.
Yeah, which is normal.
Yeah, we assume the SCSI bus is working because it's all the card and it's going from the drive to the other drive. It should all, unless there's an ID conflict, which I would doubt.
If there was an ID conflict, the hard drive wouldn't work. Let's see if there's something involved here too. Let's see.
Bars and pipes.
Let's see. I want to see if there's anything about mount drives. Knit printer, prep card. Obviously, the card's working because the drive.
Commodities?
Commodities is all. They're kind of like extra. Yeah.
Like desktop
little
accessories.
Helpers, yeah, kind of like little helper thingies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he has Amiga Emacs on here. That's the terminal, which we don't have a keyboard, but what is this? Connection serial, device serial. Okay, okay, so that tells it. Okay, all right, that tells us
about tools or expansion.
Well, I was just going to look
under
at
utilities.
Where did you see tools? Oh, over here on this one. Oh, we're in tools. I already opened that.
Oh, I see. And then there's utilities on the bottom left. But yeah, here.
Oh, okay. Well, let's look in there. Yeah. Nothing really interesting there. Okay. All right. But what this does is this tells us that the board's working well enough.
The motherboard's working well enough to boot and post and all that good stuff.
What is ADF? Oh, that's going to have something.
Copier. It's a copier.
Right.
Blitz is a Atari term, so I'm assuming it's some sort of.
Okay, and see that's the that has to do with your MFC. That's this card. Yeah. So,
which card? The I/O card?
I think it's this one. I think it's the one that the hard drive is on. Yeah.
Okay.
Or it might be the multifunction I/O. I don't MFC. It might be multifunction.
Is the mouse actually working?
Okay? Yeah. The mouse is working perfectly normal. So let's see. He's got JR Com, and okay, he doesn't have them. He doesn't have them. Okay, let's see.
There's a disc right here.
Oh,
yeah.
Please insert sys in any drive. Okay, that's not. Okay, that's probably unable to open your tools sound MCD player.
Let's play audio maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
Usually you had to run a wire from it, not through the actual bus.
Not through the computer, yeah.
Yeah, because that was later when they got that figured out. Which I didn't see any wires coming from it.
No, I didn't either. So
he may have never hooked it up.
What is DTP?
Desktop publishing.
Nothing.
Yeah, he didn't put anything in there probably, but it's probably desktop publishing.
Is there anything else over here?
WHD load.
Oh, let's see what that is.
Huh.
Reg forms for
HTML. What does the app look like? Like, is it called PRG or like what's the syntax for a program on the Amiga?
Well, it would have no extension on it at all.
Just like an icon with a name.
Yeah, but this looks like just this just looks like, let's just see.
I've heard that term before, but I don't know where from.
I'm just looking to see if there's any like any actual anything here, but I'm not seeing anything. WHD load, yeah. So it's got Final Writer, which is definitely a word processing type thing. And we looked in, alright, so.
Maybe run a game or something, or bars and pipes. Bars and pipes is when it's MIDI sequencing.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, oh, I know it is. It was the big one, you know.
Alright, we can launch it and see what it does.
Just to see if it loads up a...
See if it loads up an app. I mean, yeah, the hard drive access light's working. Here we go.
Yeah. Now we just need our MIDI interface.
Well, let's push play, see what the fuck happens.
Well, there's nothing loaded. But yeah. Hear the click. 1, 2.
Yeah, because I did hook the audio to the TV, so.
Yeah.
So it does actually work. Okay.
That's, yeah. I guess you just get a serial interface, MIDI interface or something. That's something I don't know.
Alright, so let's see. Okay, let's quit. Alright, so that actually works. So so the board seems like it's working.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's got in his games department here. Got Solitaire, Terracan, SimAnt, Syndicate, okay,
Dune.
So, Dune game, I have no idea. Well,
run it.
We can launch it, see what it looks like.
And will it not go in color and composite mode, or how does that work? I'm
thinking that might be what we have going on here. Yeah.
Or will it flip over to color mode?
No, I'm thinking since I think if I remember correctly, I think the 2000s did not, the composite was, was black and white only, but I don't know for sure.
So we got music. Look at that.
So
awesome. So a lot of the games will be mouse or joystick?
Probably. This one looks like it might be joystick only because the mouse isn't doing anything. Of course, it's still in these intro screens.
So I'd need to get an RGB or something to get color out of it, probably.
Right. Oh, I just clicked the mouse and something happened.
Well, it should skip the intro, yeah. Or, move forward.
Let's see if we can click through it.
Spice Mirage. You are Paul Atreides, son of Duke Leto Atreides.
I don't know if it's just advancing through or whether whether the clicks are actually doing anything or not. They don't.
Great samples, though. Like the music's really the quality.
Yeah. The Amiga's always had really good
mod file type.
Yeah. But we may have to have a joystick to actually do this.
Yeah.
But,
well, I got those two, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Okay.
But we know,
page of
yeah.
the manual.
So that would, yeah, we got to dig into boxes to find the manual, yes.
Right.
Or look of it online.
So how do we get? Yeah, and without a keyboard, I can't even.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't
Well, that's all right. Let's just power out. I guess that's all we can do tonight anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't think there's a whole lot more we can do.
So we're just going to call it a night for this one. But there you go. We at least got some life out of the Amiga 2000.
And you know your board works.
So there you go. That was our little Amiga 2000 experiment. We just wanted to know if it worked, and it did boot up at least. We don't know about what's up with the floppy. I know he worked on that, so I have to ask him if he recapped it. Did he test it? Is there some error we've got? We do not know why it's not alive. No idea. Anyway, thanks for watching. All right, so we're back on our Amiga 2000. We a lot of things to straighten out. We basically have installed. Let me just swing around here. We have installed a SD to SCSI because the SCSI drive, about the time we were troubleshooting the floppy, the SCSI drive spins up and spins right back down again. So we think it's DOA. So, but the card is working, and because we've now hooked up this SD to SCSI, which we set up on the Mac. We've upgraded firmware. We made our, we basically defined a 128 megabyte card as 120 megabyte, storage space, and got it ready to go. And we're about to do all the partitioning on the Amiga, and we also did some repair work on that floppy that was acting up with power, and it's actually working pretty solidly now. Occasionally won't read a disk, but for the most part it's working pretty good. But just to make life easier, because we realized we needed to get Workbench and all that on here, we went ahead and installed, I had already bought a Gotec for the Amiga that's already pre-configured for the Amiga, so all I had to do was copy my image files on here. We put Workbench 2.1 as well as 3.1, but we're using 2.1, and we had to actually boot up off the install disk to which we didn't know you could boot on the install disk, and so we've loaded that, and now we're just about to actually set up this drive. So here we are at the screen. Get back over here.
All right, we're pushing the button.
We're going to partition if it works.
Which hard drive unit should be? This one will level your drive. Okay.
Should we hit 1?
Should normally use unit 6 with IDE.
0.
All right, valid range is 0 to 6.
We have no keyboard.
That's
our next problem. Can we scroll that or anything?
No, we would have to have keys.
Can you copy paste?
And it says it normally use unit 6, so we'll just go ahead. Let's just push the button and see what it does.
I mean, it's seeing it, so.
Oh, it's acting like it is. It hasn't puked
yet. That shouldn't be, but.
I don't know whether it did anything or if
it acted like it did, but we definitely told it 0, so I have no idea. But maybe that's a logical unit.
But it has not.
Maybe that's not a SCSI ID. Maybe that's just a drive identifier unit.
All right, so let's go to the HD tools and see.
See if we can install.
Right, but it will level formatted. But let's see if we can actually. Now we may have to actually do some.
Is it the install that does that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what the hell.
Excuse me.
Okay, driver not installed. Okay, so I think we still have to go to. Let's
do an install and see what happens.
Okay, well that's where we just were.
The top left install. Install 2.1, right?
Okay.
Or no? Do we have to format still?
I think we have to format because see we don't have a blank drive showing up here. I suspect if we do this, it's going to...
Didn't he just go tools, bam, and it was right in the menu? Remember that? It was like really easy.
Yeah. So, okay, let's see what happens here.
This probably is not what we need, but let's see what we get. We're not that Amiga clever here. If this was an Atari, I would know what to do, but we're learning.
And I suspect what we have to do is we probably have to change that 6 to 1 because remember we defined our SCSI drive as unit 1.
That's what I would think.
Okay, let's see.
Proceed with install.
Which disk? Okay, we don't have a disk available yet because we don't actually have a we don't have a hard drive.
Yeah, abort install.
Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and there it is.
All right, so
yes, I want to cancel. All right, so we think we really are going to need to come up with some kind of keyboard if we want to actually proceed because we're going to have to,
What did we? Yeah, but it wouldn't have just done all that if there was no drive.
Right. Well, there is a drive, but basically our HD toolbox our HD toolbox wants to know which drive to do. Because see, it's reading. Okay, okay. Actually, no, it's not HD toolbox. It was the HD setup.
But when he did that on the other app, he just like hopped in and it was done. Like, was it this one? Is that where you're at?
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. So, but this is the HD setup. This is the one where it actually wants to do the low level. This is where one wants to do the partitioning. This is.
But he did it out of tools, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what he did, but he was also using a version 5 card.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. We're going to go do some research. All right, we went through looking through all the wrong boxes and finally found the box sitting right by the door that had the keyboard.
Right.
And now we're going to find out.
Can you give me some light down here so
now we're going to find out if the keyboard will hot swap or not.
I'm just trying to see with the orientation of the hole.
Move your head and I can tell you.
Okay, it looks like it's there. It looks like that's it. There it is.
Okay. Oh, it rebooted or freaked out.
It freaked out. Okay, so let's go ahead and just...
It didn't like it.
Did not like that at all, but that's okay.
All right. Hopefully it didn't hurt anything. It's a learning situation. Now, are we on the same install disk?
Yes.
All right. So we'll give it a moment. Is that one mine?
No, I think this one's mine.
I was drinking one of those. Mine's over here. You're good.
Okay.
Let's kill that light.
Yeah, now we got... Okay.
So why is it blue?
This is a question I do not know the answer to. Remember, it does take a little while for it to time out before it starts reading from him.
Surely plugging a keyboard wouldn't ruin the burn the whole thing up.
I can't imagine it.
That would be pretty sad. But I'm seeing like a logo. See that?
It's kind of, it kind of looks almost logo-y. Sure, it could just be But let's...
Should we power off and power off? Like pull the plug and let it discharge?
Well, I'm going to give it a couple seconds here and see what happens. Because remember, this thing always had a little bit of a timeout before it would do its thing. Okay, that just went blank. So
it's acting way weird.
It's definitely weirder than it should. So
yeah, we're going to pause this, come back to it. Let's see what happens.
Let's go ahead and get it. Although pulling the plug on this doesn't really matter.
Well, and then you hit the power button. That's what I do sometimes. It discharges. But I don't know if that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know if that will make a difference on this, but
it's one of those weird things that's probably completely like a like a wives' tale. No, not bounded in any factor of science. That looks better. Now it looks better. Yes. Okay, now we'll wait a little while, which that's fine. I don't mind waiting.
Operators are standing by.
That's right. It's supposed to wait a while, but it is white, which means it's probably loading.
Right, it's thinking anyway, because it is going to have to it's going to take a while to wake up on that, because we have to wait for that to time out, because it's holding that, looking for an OS,
looking for what's not there.
Mm-hmm. When it doesn't find it, then it'll jump over to the floppy, or the emulated floppy. Not yet, but
I'm hearing noises.
Nothing yet.
Kind of blinking.
Okay, we got a blink there, which is normal. So
there it goes. It went black.
No, it went blank.
Is that bad?
I don't know. Okay, we still got a blink there.
There it goes. That's what it did before. So that's
okay. There we go. Now,
hopefully that's.
But now it's but now it's actually
reading.
Now it's actually.
Now you hear the noise.
Now you hear the noise and you see the track, because actually look at that display. It actually tells you what disk track and sector it thinks it's
as it comes up.
It's faking.
That's awesome. All right, so now we try again.
So now we can go back into the HD setup.
And this time we have a keyboard, and we can do things like type numbers.
Was it HD setup or
I don't remember, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it was.
I haven't learned the ways. I'm still learning English for us.
So now we have to tell it.
It tells you a little bit about their market saturation, the fact that you have all these languages in the install.
Right.
All right, let's see if we can actually see our drive and partition it.
Alrighty, so we'll see.
We're pretending we have that.
Alrighty, and now
we do 0.
1, because 0. That's right, we did 0.
Proceed. Proceed. And
now, in theory, if it's actually going to do something, we should start seeing. See, I don't know if it did anything or not.
well, I mean, that's all we can do. We did all the things. Unless we're doing something out of order.
Or it's not detecting us, or it's not detecting our thing for some reason.
The reason the only concern I have is why we did 6 before and it acted like it did something. Because like it should just be like, no, there's nothing there. What are you doing? Tools, I thought. Toolbox. Yeah, that's right, right?
I hope so. We're about to find out. Driver not installed. Change drive type. Partition drive. See, we're not
Nothing
seeing
there.
See, we should be seeing something here. Are we sure we did 0 and not 1 on that?
I'm 99% sure.
Well, since we only have 1, let's go ahead and
No, we did 0. We always do 0. I mean, but I don't think that's the problem. I think it's something else we're missing. But we should check that. I'm going to pause this. We'll come back to this.
Okay.
Because we don't know what's going on yet. We're going to find out. Stay with us.
Being the workbench disk.
So we're rebooting again. We just pushed in the connector a little better. It might be something simple. We thought maybe the connector wasn't all the way in complete. Just to check it before we start getting crazy.
Alrighty, so let's go in. And let's just go straight to HD Toolbox, which is what he was using.
See if it sees it.
See if it sees the device right.
Nope.
Negative. All right. Let's see if HD Setup does something now, because we may have to partition it first.
Yeah, it looked like it did it. The other guy did it all from that tool,
yeah,
but we never know. In English. And we think it's 0, but we're going to double check all that in a moment. What I don't understand is why it goes through the process
and then doesn't.
But you don't see anything to
and
really
it doesn't
know
give you an
that
error
you're
saying,
actually doing anything. It should be an error, like it does drive not found. You know, partition failed.
Something, yeah.
That's really odd.
So let's go back into the toolbox and see if it sees it now. Just out of curiosity, it probably won't, but
it didn't before, so
it didn't
I don't
before,
think it
but
will.
Basically, nope.
Yep.
All right, so let's pull this thing off and hook it back to the Mac and
see what we got.
Let's look at our
configuration. What does the install do? Is that to install Workbench? But
yeah,
that's
basically
not there. So
yeah, that basically.
Now, before we had a disk that closed all those windows.
Right. Yeah. At one point we actually had an
icon.
An icon that had an unassigned icon. Right.
Correct. So that was more promising. Now we don't. All right.
But remember, that was when we booted it on Workbench 3.1.
Interesting. Wonder if we should do all this with 3.1 and then go back and do the install Workbench with 2. Like we said.
Let's Workbench 3.
So we're going to give that a go. We're going to reboot in 3.1, and then from there try to do the hard disk partitioning and all that stuff first. See if that works, because that may be the problem. It just may need a newer Workbench install to do that. And then we'll switch back to 2.1 to see if we can get Workbench actually installed on the drive. Because with our ROM version, that's what we have to do, is our understanding. One step at a time. So we've re-flashed the device, tried all that stuff. And now we're booting with 3.1.
What is this other connector?
Install. We're going to try to do that, but we're going to turn the monitor on first.
Yeah.
Is it timed out on us? It's flashing. What other connector? Oh, that power there. You know, I don't know, because it powers off the USB when you do the other thing. Maybe
it powers off the Molex when you.
Maybe you can power it off this instead of the Molex. That's what I'm thinking.
Possibly. Okay,
So we're going to try 3.1 because earlier we did get a disk icon the first time we tried this, and we didn't have the right. You've got to have the right software to go with the ROMs and all that. But we just want to get the disk formatted. If we could do that in 3.1.
Okay, we did not get an icon.
So far, no disk. That's not.
However, remember when we got the icon, we didn't boot up off of the install 3.1. We booted up off of just the regular Workbench 3.1.
Oh, interesting. But then when we tried to format or anything,
actually, when we did install, that's when we never tried to run. Yeah, let's see what the hell.
You want to try that?
Let's see what happens. I'm game to try damn near anything.
Okay, so we did a whole reconfigure on the PC, and this time we booted with 2.1 install, and we got a drive icon, PCO, and we have two partitions that we told it, so 240 megabyte. And anyway, we're going to try to run Toolbox now to see if it's going to actually see the drive, which it should, because the system is
seeing something,
telling us. I also moved the card back to another slot, but yet it still doesn't see it.
It still says driver not installed. It doesn't say no devices. Remember, it was just blank before. Now it's saying this. All right, so let's go.
Is there any other thing you can highlight there?
No, because the only button you can push is this help. All the other ones are grayed out, and there's no there's all you have to do here is make the window
small or
size.
big.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not helping.
But let's also let's also look at the HD. Let's see if we can do
setup.
The HD setup.
Yeah, I mean we're seeing a thing.
And this will probably bounce us back and forth. It'll probably tell us we need to actually switch back to the Workbench disk for a minute to poll something.
Someone's knocking at the door. Sounds like a cat.
Please, okay, yeah. Please replace. Yeah, so we have to switch back to the actual Workbench.
Rotate the knob.
All right.
Back to Workbench 2.1.
Basically remount the Workbench 2.1. Okay. Please boot from the Amiga install disk
1, 2.
before running.
So this one we have to do from install 1 to 1.
Right. Now what? So all right. So let's go. So all right. So I'm going to switch back to that. Now this time I am not going to turn the machine off. I am just going to do a
proceed. Well, it may be that card seating and the moving of the card is what did it.
I forget what there is a command seat. There is a keyboard sequence, kind of like a Control-Alt-Delete on Windows.
What does proceed do?
Proceed will just basically just drop me back to here and tell me I can't, that it's just going to close it. Yeah,
got it.
But there is a command sequence somewhere that you can do a reboot without powering off, which is what I want to do.
So you booted with Workbench 2.1, not Workbench 2.1 install.
Correct.
And that was maybe our error, maybe not. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm trying to remember what the key sequence for. There is a key sequence where you can, to basically reboot, kind of like a Control-Delete on Windows.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what it was. I thought it was the 2 Amiga keys and a delete or
something with the mouse key.
No, it was strictly a keyboard thing. I just don't remember what it was. We're probably gonna have to just look it up on the interweb. How do you force a reboot on an Amiga? Yeah.
All right, let me see what we can find on the internet.
It was that.
So Control and both Amiga keys at the same time.
Correct.
Did it force a reboot?
Forced a reboot. Okay. Correct.
So rather than powering off, that way.
Yeah, because if we got it to initialize, I don't want to.
Yeah, we hope that we don't lose it again. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, here we go.
And now we're starting up off of.
So that was the key command, both Control and both Amiga keys. Now we're on Workbench install, and now it's starting to boot.
So let's see if we still get that disk icon.
If we still get the disk icon, that will be a good sign. And then we should be able to run the install utility. Now we don't know if it's going to work, but we're at least getting closer and closer to reality here, to what we want. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
And we did not get that other.
Wonder why.
And we did not power cycle this time.
We didn't even power cycle. We didn't do anything. Do we do stalls or setup or setup?
I'm going to do the HD setup because we know that the HD tools did not do anything.
All right. So weird. Why one gives you the icon and the other doesn't? You think you were making progress.
Yeah, I don't know.
I may be doing more tomorrow. I may be just reading and watching Amiga videos of how they do it to see if I can figure out the order. Because it may just be some weird order thing.
All right,
And
so
all that we don't know. We just pretend.
we knew.
Yep.
So we're going to say proceed, and then we know we did them as 0 and 1, so we're going to start with 0.
0 to 1, right? 0.
Valid range is 0.
0.
Which drive? Right? You have to do them one at a time. I don't. You can't do that. So you won't even.
So should we do 6, by the way, next time? I'm just curious.
I don't think we ever put a unit 6 in. Because I'm pretty sure these are the actual.
See, we did this before and it didn't do any. We don't know that it's actually doing anything.
Right. Yeah. See, it just did that, and then it just drops out.
I don't think it's actually doing anything.
I think this is actually only would work if we had an actual Commodore specific I/O card.
That's what I think.
So I don't think this is, but I'm going to try the 6 anyway, just see what happens. But 6 is usually reserved for the IDEs, it says, but we'll try it.
Well, see, it should match. Shouldn't matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
What's reselection?
I have no idea. But I'm going to go ahead and put in the 1 because we should have 2.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I'm going to push their help button and say, okay, we'll divide your hard drive into.
See, we've already done all this.
Right.
Sort of.
Yeah, I get the feeling this is actually has more. I think this is not really part of the whole game, but.
See, we should just go to tools and it should just work.
I'm gonna refire the tools at this point and see.
But I'm worried that partitioning thing we're doing is messing up.
See, we're getting the driver not installed, which is not the same thing as, not the
Try and
same.
install. I mean, But we should see. I mean, from what we saw in the other video, we should see the
We
drives
should see
there.
we should see the 2 logical drives showing up there.
Yep.
And the fact that we don't.
Try the install, but it's going to say nothing there to install to, I'm sure.
Right. It's just
And then, out of curiosity, we should boot before we give up, because we're kind of at that give up for the night.
Go back to the 3.1 and see.
Well, boot up with the 2.1.
The regular workbench and see if
the drive appears
see
again.
if it sees the blank.
See if it still sees the drive.
Right. Okay. So
We'll install English.
Yeah, it's going to tell. It's going to ask me where I want to install to, and unfortunately,
And there won't be anything there.
And there's nothing there because we have not formatted these things yet.
I wonder if we could format this disk in when.
In the Amiga emulator.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then it would see it, because
I don't know.
I think you can do that. You can pop it right out of one, right into the other.
Alrighty, let's just.
Sure.
But yeah, see,
Again,
where do you want to install
there.
it?
Make new drawer.
But yeah, see, I've got to enter the complete path. See, I don't have any, I don't have a path other than my 2 floppies, which don't have any room on them.
Because there's no drive.
Right, because there's
Parent drawer, show drives.
Yeah, show drive. See, it shows
there
me.
There it is.
See, there's my floppy. There's
what about C? Can you click C?
That is nothing more. See, these are not real drives. It's ASN. These are assigns. This is an Amiga trick, where basically these are basically like shortcuts.
Okay.
Nothing's
happening yet.
So if you specify T:, that T: basically is the RAM disk.
Okay.
So
not happening.
They're not. They're basically shortcuts or aliases.
Making a drawer, but we don't know what the drawer is.
Well, we would have to make the drawer on DF0, and it's already 100% full. So yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
So we don't have any. So we just don't have So.
Board install. Okay, we give up for now.
It just doesn't have the So yeah, let's go ahead and reboot back to the regular work.
So for this round, we're going to reboot one more time back to the regular workbench just to see if it sees the drive icon still after we did that partitioning thing, because we're still trying to demystify this whole SD to SCSI card in this Amiga 2000. So we rebooted. Whoops. So we rebooted and we have no drive icon, as you see there. It's a bummer. All right, we're going to keep trying other things.
Nope. And we still are a dead neg.
Still nothing. Blast. So annoying. Okay, to bring you up to date, this is a new day. We were up till 5 a.m. and got almost nowhere other than we're basically slowly demystifying all the steps to get this Amiga 2000 HD up and running. The goal being to get a Gotec floppy and an internal physical floppy working, and to get the SD to SCSI device working, because the hard drive that was originally installed has died, or seems to have died. It would not load. But we couldn't solve all the problems at once. We've been slowly solving one problem after another and sorting things out. At this point, we finally dug in boxes of old software and found the floppy that had the actual install software for the SCSI card, because this is a proprietary SCSI card. The Amiga tools that are normally part of the workbench that format floppies or format SCSI drives, they only work with certain controller cards, a very limited list. And these are third-party SCSI card that needed its own software. We could not find that software anywhere. We saw people talking about it, use this software, but we couldn't find it. So we dug through boxes and boxes and boxes and finally found about 8 floppies, most of which had either been written over or damaged. And we found one, and then we tried it. We actually did finally sort out getting the floppies working, got both floppies working, the Gotec and a physical floppy. We had, which one is which? We had the physical floppy as 0 and the Gotec as 1. And so, typically it'll boot off 0 and then back to 1. But it'll boot off either, right? But you had to set jumpers as well as pay attention to the twist in the wire and all that. Got all that sorted out. But we finally got the floppy and we tried to copy it and it had read errors. So then we tried to run the auto install program, which sort of does everything. And that had an error about halfway through the boot. It booted the system, but wouldn't install the software. But then we just said, well, let's just run the utility that is the formatting utility only, because that's, I think, all we need. Once we get the drive formatted, the SD to SCSI formatted, we can then hopefully install with the regular workbench utilities the actual driver it needs to boot the system. And that is where we're at now. Take a look here. We are looking at the screen, which now is ready to go. And the interesting thing is we do see SCSI unit 0, which is the actual quantum drive, which started or began to not work, not boot, but it's still hooked up and still there, and it does sense it. That's interesting. And then of course our SD to SCSI, we did set those up on the Mac with the the firmware and then the utility to configure it to unit 1 and unit 2. And we're going to push the magic button. We've just put in the interleave factor. We're going to format 1, and the interleave factor is 3, and we're going to hit yes, and let's see what happens. Format complete.
Okay, because all it has to do is one time. Let's go ahead and
run it again,
because we need to do number 2 as well.
Yep, we're going to run it again, see if it loads twice in a row, which would be a lovely. Seems to be.
Alrighty.
And now the first one says 4.2.
You can hear it trying to start the drive.
Yeah.
But you can hear it.
Now what is the 4-2 and then the gibberish-2 on the
The gibberish-2 means the pointer is over that, because remember, see, that's just the pointer.
Oh, it's just the pointer. Okay.
Yeah. So
now, can we see that it is or isn't formatted yet? I guess
no,
not.
I don't think we can yet.
Okay, so we're going to hit 2. Yes. Interleave 3. Hit go. Yes. Format complete.
Okay.
So now we reboot. Is that what we do?
Well, now in theory, I want to see.
Now what is this other one? Is that the previous
That's the one
app?
that failed.
Yeah,
right.
so that's not it.
Right.
Now why doesn't it just show up? Is there a process? That's what I don't know.
That's what I don't know. I'm almost thinking that we have to do, let's see.
How about the auto install?
Well, that auto install just brings this up. So it claims to have, but it seems like it did those really way too faster than it should have. So, but it actually read everything. But the install HD is the one that won't run.
Didn't seem to run.
That's the one that keeps giving me the disk error.
Okay. And we've gone through all the stack of floppies at this point?
I believe we have, but we can certainly try again. But what I'm going to do at this point is, let's go ahead and No,
Close
I
that,
have yet to
right?
figure. Well, I can't. There isn't. I can't find. There's. I don't know which command you're supposed to use to to make it go away. But so we're just going to go ahead and now see what I'm really finding interesting is okay because we're booted off of that. Okay, that's why. All right. So yeah. So at this point, I think we're just gonna
Shut it off and go.
Power off, and then we're gonna crank up off of the regular workbench 2.1.
All right.
And see
where we're at.
Where we're at.
So I'm going to boot it off the Gotec now. Theoretically.
Okay.
It'll take a while, so let me pause this for a moment. So we were trying to copy the disk on an Amiga 500, and this is where we're at now.
On the continue, it may skip that, so something may not. Yeah.
Well, won't it tell us if something didn't work?
Well, it told us that I told it to continue, which means it may still do the rest, which means
enough to do what we got to do,
depending on what the error, where the error is.
Yeah. Does it just blindly write it then,
or is it just going to skip that corrupt segment, and so there'll be something that doesn't work?
So trying to get a fresh copy of the disk on a better drive, basically, and then hopefully the old drive can read it, and we may even try another drive we just located in a box. Right up here, I had a box, and in the box was a floppy that said Amiga. Where is that anyway?
I don't know where you put it.
It's not there.
I don't know what you did with it, but
I didn't do anything.
You had it in your hands.
It's lost forever.
You had it in your hands 10 minutes ago.
Well, dang it. Probably got moved into the other room. But anyway, we got a floppy. It's Amiga 500 here.
Okay,
it's finished, so let's see what happens.
Okay, this is the disc that say it's trying to spin that, but you can hear that stepper motor stumbling.
Yeah. So now we're going to try again, but didn't we?
This is the installation.
But this is the prep, right?
No, this is the one that didn't work before.
Okay, so let's try.
This is the one.
Try one.
This is the one that did not work before. So if our keyboard is working, and it is, choose interleave practice. Yeah, that's alrighty.
Why would it fail?
Because there's an error. Because it copied that bad track.
Yeah, but the program's already running.
Possibly. I don't really know. Let's see. But now I'm nowhere.
Yeah, I mean you probably have to reboot. We should try to get the other one going and.
Oh, we found it, and now the keyboard's dead.
Yeah. All right, so I actually found finally the actual software for at least a Dataflyer SCSI Plus card, which we think the software is pretty much universal for all those cards. So we got that software, and it actually was able to download that, and it converted right to the disk image we needed. So now we actually have nothing hooked up except the Gotec floppy and, of course, our SCSI SD to SCSI and the old dead drive just to see what happens. But now we're waiting for the boot cycle to finish and see if it actually loads and boots off that flyer, what do you call it?
Dataflyer.
Dataflyer SCSI Plus auto load, which has enough to, at least on the floppies, to try. It will boot the system. Here's where it goes. It's trying. When we see that, it means it's moving to the Gotec.
And the tracks and sectors are cycling, which tells us that.
Now it's starting to load off the Gotec. Let's see what we get. And there it goes.
If you're using, okay. Or if you're using, please answer no. Are you using Amiga 4000 drivers? Yes or no. It says if you're 600 or 1200, please enter no. I have no idea. I'm going to say no.
And we don't know.
Let's see if it actually...
It says you'll only be booted from if you're using the DF Prep HD formatting software, and we are.
Right.
We assume.
But we are not using Amiga 4000 drivers because we don't have a 4000.
It's saying the initial driver installation, please reboot the system. Well, we are doing initial, but how would you do that?
Right. Well, it's still loading the workbench, so let's see.
Install drivers icon. I guess they mean like after it's been done, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
so please give me something I can
There's a
use
README.
here.
I guess we could read the README.
Let's see what they give us. Okay, let's see. Let's do. I'm gonna do make boot disk. Let's see what we get from that. They've changed this around a bit, but okay. Oh no. Okay. Before continuing, you have formatted your hard drive. We have not formatted our hard drive yet.
Yeah, we don't want this yet, so no.
Okay, so this is all. This is like it's looking like for bootable IDEs, not
Correct. Well, it gives it both. They have both, right?
Well, they have both, but
On some cards.
But I'm wondering if we are.
So try your prep.
DF prep. I didn't even see that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's. But I'm wondering if this particular utility disk was for the ID. Is only.
Nah, it's called SCSI Plus.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Possible can't find a hard disk. The cable between the data flyer board and your hard disk isn't connected. Hard disk isn't configured. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. So it's not finding us here.
So that didn't work.
That is not helping us here because it pulled the Let's see if this actually does anything.
And we know it's there because the other utility saw it.
The SCSI Plus drivers are already on this. Okay.
Yeah, on the floppy is what they mean.
Right. Let's see.
Well, this is no fun.
Yeah, let's see what they actually have here. SCSI Plus. Okay, see, they have a separate thing board for that, which is interesting.
But no 2000.
Right. Possibly because this, possibly because, yeah, I don't know why. The hard drive 0.
Okay, so we just installed a new SCSI card here. Had a drive on it. I just bought this Zorro card, Zorro 2. Can you kill that light?
Light is killed.
Okay, so we just rebooted here. We installed a new SCSI card, a Zorro 2, new old stock, of course, and it actually had a hard drive on it. And we have booted up, and we're going to see what we got on there.
Oh, but you got a lot of stuff in here.
All kinds of stuff.
Ooh, including with Roger Rabbit. Ooh. You got a copy of Page Stream. You got. I wonder what the hell Roger Rabbit is. Let's find out. Unable to open it. Okay. Something we can't open. I have no idea what it is. I can't even tell from the icon what it's supposed to be. But. We got.
Those are songs.
We got a few songs. And we have an ED player which plays these MED files, which are different from the MOD files.
Yeah, I never heard of those.
I'm not familiar with what the hell an MED file is. Okay, so that's what's in there. Let's see what's in
Page stream.
Yeah, so that should be the application. Yep, it is.
See if it launches, just out of curiosity.
Oh, she's acting like it wants to.
It may need a certain version of.
May need the newer workbench. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. Oh no, there she goes. That's it. That looks real familiar. Yep, it's working. It runs.
Nice.
All right, and you got so
Games and music and.
But there's
empty.
Let's see what's in his games directory. StarCon, Conquest, Blackout, Cycles. Okay, that's everything. Oh, I see there. At least only things that have icons. Yeah. Right.
Arcade.
Yeah.
Pac-Man.
Poing.
All right. Well, things seem to load and boot.
It seems to load and run. Okay.
So now how do we
what I want to look at in here, I want to see if we get anything to see that this is the workbench 1. This is the workbench 1.3. Well, what I want to see is I was looking to see if we had a Fastman first, no Fastman, bit flash, RSL. Now I was looking to see if we had something that would give us, that would actually like read the, Okay, well, right up here, see, okay, you have 4 megs of fast RAM and 1 meg of graphic RAM. So that confirms that you have 2 megs on that card.
Okay. So there are 2 megs is on the board,
and the other 2 is on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, there's deluxe music. So
what does that do?
I don't know. Let's push the button and see what it does. Library ASL.library. Okay, so it needs,
That may be a more modern.
right, or it needs to be something that, Let's see what's in here. Let's see what's in here. Nothing. Okay. At least nothing you see. But the trick is, what unlike a Mac or Windows, you can have things in these directories that you may open this and see nothing, because unless there is a specific icon file associated with it, it won't show up there even if it's there.
How do you get that icon file? It's part of a system. It's not.
It's there. That's
The way it's installed.
the way it's installed, or you can create icons for things. But let's just see what we. Let's see what we got here. All right, so let's see what we're actually playing with here. All right, let's open that up one more second. Excuse me. So let's see. So let's look in. So let's see. So let's look.
DHOCDHOS. What is that?
Those are okay. This is very much like These are very much like Unix shortcuts. Basically, if you were, for example, if you did just like CD C:,
right?
That's not C drive like Windows. It's actually going to go to, DHO:C. You can actually assign anything you want to anywhere you want. So if you specifically wanted to assign your games to DH0:games, you could just do CD games, and it would automatically, because you can make as many of these assignments as you want. It's completely open-ended. C in this case is generally commands. So, oops, well, if you learn how to type it, that is. So C is generally, commands. You see, this is very much like Unix. Those are all of the commands that are available.
That I can run. Yeah.
That you can run. But every time you run one of these, it has to load it off the hard drive.
Yeah.
So the trick is, commonly used commands as part of the startup, they put them in the T directory, which is on the RAM disk. So, okay, so then there's nothing in here at the moment. But what a lot of people will do when they'll write a startup script that will copy the most commonly used commands like cd, cat, type, disk copy, delete, all the commands you use almost all the time.
Yeah.
Copy them into the RAM disk, so that way it's not thrashing your drive every time you use them.
Got it.
That's So, but in this case, whoever installed this drive has not done that.
Okay, it's just got stuff on there.
But you have quite a bit of stuff on here, yes.
What is on there? It must be this guy.
All right, so this is all the stuff that's actually on DH0. But what you notice is the icons are these .info files.
Okay.
So you have to have if you want it to show up on the workbench, it's got to have a .info file.
Okay. Now, from in the shell, can you change to that directory and run that file? Or in this case, that's actually utilities as a directory. But yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. But what is vibes.ss?
Those look like they're virtual instruments for some music utility.
Okay.
I honestly don't. I mean, you can see there's string chord.
Yeah.
Those look like those are sample. Oh, I bet those are samples for a
sound sample, probably.
Sound sample, exactly. And but you don't see those in the workbench because they don't have a matching .info file.
Got it.
So you really, so the workbench is not the complete operating system like it is on Mac. A convenience thing. You can have a lot. So you
customize your workbench to show what you want to work, but it's not a full OS like a Mac. Yeah.
Correct. In fact, you can run this machine, for example. You can actually switch back to the workbench. You can actually just say, you can just quit the workbench completely and run it straight off the terminal and not even be using the workbench.
Yeah, it's just a graphical convenience for
Yeah.
people like me
Right.
who don't want to work in the command line all the time.
And that's right, exit is not.
And then can you run workbench like you run Windows, WIN, you know, like...
Yeah. In fact, crud, I just closed it. I was going to say, if we go into the C directory there, usually workbench is usually a command that you can run to do that.
So change directory C, gives me the directory.
And now Amiga does not use the star in the traditional convention because it is not a true Unix. Okay, so workbench is not one in the C directory. It's it is in here somewhere. And unlike Unix, CD/ does not take you to the top level.
Okay.
It just takes you up one directory.
Okay. Is there a command to go all the way up, or you got to go one at a time?
I think if you want to go all the way up, you would just go, for example, CD DH0. And that would take you all the way back up to the top.
The name of the drive. Yeah.
Right. So that's how you get. But if you're used to using Unix, this is going to screw you up because
it's a little different. Yeah.
It's Unix-like, but it is not a real Unix. There are some third-party shell utilities that will make it work more like Unix. Gotcha. You can actually install something like AXSH or something like that actually gives you a more Unix-compliant shell. That will let you, that you can navigate more familiarly if you are already used to Unix. But but these things will. This came, when this was made, the only people running Unix were on mainframes.
Gotcha.
So this is actually, this is all pretty proprietary in a lot of ways. So I'm not, there is a command. Oh, let's do it this way. Okay, let's look and see.
Startup sequence.
Let's see. Let's see what they actually are doing, if anything, here. Okay, so this is everything that it's going to run, and unfortunately, you do not have the ability to scroll back up. So okay, load WB. That's the command. That's effectively the same as win. Load WB is what
loads workbench. So if you quit workbench,
if you were to close the workbench and have just a shell,
and type load WB, it will launch workbench again.
Now, if you quit the workbench and then exit and then end your shell,
you got nothing.
Now you're rebooting because now you got
yeah. I'm with you.
There generally is not there's not an easy way to force it back.
All right, so we've done some changes. We actually hooked up my SCSI to SD. It's kind of right there with the tape on it temporarily. Directly to the card. We've got the drive disconnected. We'll play with that later. And we booted up off the Gotec, and we actually did get the drives formatted. Took a while. And now we are installing Workbench. We boot up off the Gotec. Booted off the Gotec, and we loaded Workbench 2.1, and we did the install boot disk for Workbench 2.1 because I think my ROMs are version 2, and we are installing now. And so, we're going to see what Wolf chooses here.
Oh well,
he's an expert, but he may not. He may.
If we do novice, it's just going to do everything, whereas this is going to actually ask us a whole bunch of questions.
Well, I'm okay with questions.
All right. Well, as
long as you know the answers.
Well, let's see. All right, install for real or pretend, and we're going to do it for real. Okay, we don't really need a log file. This program will update your hard disk. You're okay. Okay, so we don't have anything on there. No, I do not want the update installed in the storage drawer. I want it installed into, let's see.
Yeah, my brain would explode with this.
Show drives. That's what I want. We want it to be there. And proceed.
What is a drawer?
They're what they call a folder. But since Apple had copyrighted folder at that point, okay. Okay, these files, okay, we can say delete automatically because there's nothing there because it's an empty drive. It says nothing needs to be deleted because we don't have anything on there. Okay, so this is where it's going to start asking us for the other disks. So we got the stuff off of the Workbench. It's reading stuff off the actual Workbench 2.1 disk. And then it's going to ask us for the extras, the utilities, the fonts, all that stuff.
It just keeps copying.
Yeah, it's just basically it's just copying all the contents of all these disks onto that drive.
So we're still rolling along, adding information into, or copying from the workbench disk into the Amiga's hard drive. Here's where we're at right now. We're doing the fonts, and you can see there they are. Fonts rolling in to the drawer. The drawer is a folder because Apple had the copyright on the word folder, so they called them drawers. Bullet. And I named my boot drive WB2. So it's been a crazy process getting this going. We had to do a lot of trial and error. Sometimes we'd hook something up and reboot and it wouldn't see it, so we'd have to sort of restart. We think there's a timing issue on how long it takes for the card is ready to go, but yet the device we're trying to scan is not ready, so the card doesn't see it, and so when it first boots, it shows nothing. So you have to kind of wait and let everything warm up and then maybe do a kind of a reset, and that might solve the problem. We don't know. We're just kind of guessing on that still. Oh, now we're switching back to
and this may be
the install disk. All right, let's see what happens. And after all this is done, we'll reboot and see if we boot off the hard drive. And by hard drive, I mean the new SCSI to SD device.
You should install the file from the update drawer as your startup sequence on the boot floppy. Okay, well, we're not going to, at this point, we're not going to be,
No, we're going to boot off the hard drive, so we don't need to put a file. That's like a boot file on a floppy.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need that. Like if we had not made the hard drive bootable, we would always boot off the floppy file, and we're not. So here we go. We're going to proceed, and then we're going to reboot. Here we go.
Alrighty, so now we can just close all this, and then we can. Alright, and so now we can switch off, and when we bring it back up, it should catch the hard drive first.
All right, here we go with the power, baby. I got the power.
Or it explodes.
Eventually we'll hook up the HDMI output converter I've got.
So we get color, yeah.
Yeah, so we can see what this looks like. At least a somewhat scaled version.
Okay, it's thrashing the drive.
And
so
I see blinky lights, blinky lights.
Yeah, the front LED is going okay.
It's flying too. You see how fast that was. That was quick.
And now it's reading the floppy because it's still there, even though we're not starting from it.
And where are my drives? Well, we know it's there because
it's still thinking because
because it booted off of it, I assume.
No, it should be. I mean, why is it hourglassing? I mean, it's picked up. It picked up this one, which is on the
Yeah, my boot disk, the storage disk. Yeah.
Right.
And it booted.
It did, or halfway anyway. However, again, timing thing because we power cycled. Let's do the soft kick and see what we get.
Okay, so you're going to do the
do these.
Okay.
And now so
I'm going to see the drive here. I see blinky blinks. Let's see what happens.
All right, it pulled. All right, there it goes.
There it goes, blink, blink, blink. We see it blinking down here.
Yeah.
And now it's trying to load again.
When we get to there.
And we're getting some weird error.
And we're getting some I'm wondering, I'm going to switch our floppy to quote unquote a blank, one of those blank discs rather than
that one.
Yeah, just so that way, and just make sure it's not trying to do something stupid.
All right. And reset again, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
And if
see how long it takes.
And if this still doesn't work, I'm going to try just disconnecting that and see what happens because it pulls that and then it hangs. So. All right, so it starts.
There it goes, blinkety blinkety blink. We see the blinking on the SCSI to SD.
We get to there, and then it kind of chokes itself.
Why does it do that? That's really frustrating.
Yeah, because it went all the way through the whole process. It wrote. and we're hourglass, so we have no other functionality going on.
Maybe we wait long enough.
Well, possibly, but it shouldn't because
it's not doing anything.
It's not doing. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's.
Yeah, it's not trying to read the. It's because of the SD. It's not trying to read the floppy. It's just sitting.
It's sitting there doing nothing. All right. Well, let's restart up off of the regular workbench and see.
All right. You want to just reset?
Yeah. We'll just do, and then we'll do the mouse buttons. Let's actually force it to start up off of the regular workbench.
So yeah, we're going to hold down both mouse buttons, and now we get to pick.
And it's one for the Gotec is one.
So we're going to boot off the Gotec, and then see if our drives mount again to see if they're there. So then, if that's the case, it's something in the boot install.
It's something in the startup, right?
Yeah. Maybe have to do it again, or. My battery's at 15%. We may not record all this, but oh well. Let's just see what happens.
Okay, it's definitely reading from the Gotec. So
yeah, it takes longer, of course.
Yeah.
Starting off with floppy. Well, pseudo floppy. We're actually starting off of this guy, theoretically. All right,
Now it has stopped.
Pause it and see what happens till we get this thing up again. Till we get this thing running again, I'll just pause it. Maybe in a minute it'll be working.
So this is what.
So now we think it's a startup sequence thing, and he's trying to look and find out what in the startup is hanging.
Right, and unfortunately, you can't easily scroll up on these, so you have to, so we can pause it with the. All right, let's see. So. All right, let's see. So. All right, so it does. So there's where it makes the RAM disks and all that stuff. I'm almost suspecting that bind drivers is where it might be where it's eating ourselves.
What are bind drivers?
That basically loads some other, let's see.
So we're still trying to track it down. We're now.
Just want to see what happens if we do these commands manually.
I'm thinking there's not a directory that it's looking for, or it's trying to create the directory.
Yeah, I just want to see if what I'm trying to do is isolate where it's failing. Okay, I'll let you do that. One more time for the film.
So now we're doing it for video. We just installed both of the floppies, backed up the old floppy and moved one to the Gotec to ID1, the regular floppy to 0, and that's what was causing all of our boot issues. We are now there. We have the Gotec, which is set on empty. If we were to load a floppy, we would get an icon.
Let's make sure of that.
We'll do it. Here we go.
Let's go ahead and we'll just do the 3.1 storage just because.
So we'll should just see it go.
Yep.
Yep. So there it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can eject it. We'll get it empty again. So he's ejecting from there.
And then we're going to put another empty.
And then we've got a real disk that we'll put into floppy. So we have both floppies, a Gotec and a floppy. And the beautiful thing about an Amiga, compared to say the Atari. And of course, I'm still an Atari fan, #1. But as I learn more about the Amiga, the one thing that's got the upper hand is I think either drive can boot the floppy. Like, in other words, you can put a game disc in the real floppy and boot off that, force you holding down the mouse buttons and load the game and play the game. Whereas the Atari has to always be drive A, like period. Unless you do some hacking and stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but in theory, you should be able to do one of these buttons and actually do. Okay, that just changed to You should just be able to actually...
back to empty. Yep.
Yeah, but you should just be able to, there should be a way to actually like eject.
Yeah, there was an eject, push in the button. Just push in the button.
Okay, there we go.
There
eject
you go. Now it's ejected. Okay. Correct. Now eject the other one. And see, we just have our hard drives.
Right.
Our storage drive and our boot drive. How do we change the icon? Is there a way to do that easily?
Not easily. There is an icon editor program you can use to do so, but it doesn't come with the machine. You've got to get.
So it's a third party thing.
It's a third party
thing.
Okay,
well that's pretty good for now. My phone is on its last bit of battery, so we did pretty good. I'm very dark on my screen because my phone's about to die. But we finally got over the hump. It's a booting Amiga with the SCSI to SD device. Now I've got to sort of go in there. We're going to do some more playing. I'm going to try to take the card back out again, take the hard drive off, mount that SCSI to SD to the card, power it off the card, check that it all works, and then start positioning stuff in the case. And then we're going to try to hook up the old SCSI drive plus the SCSI drive I got with this externally and see if we can copy that data off those hard drives. We'll see. Stay tuned. So here's our port right there for our SCSI. So we'll need to use a 25 to 50 SCSI cable to get that to work.
That floppy.
Yep, that one floppy was bad. So we just hooked up an external drive just on the whim, the one that was actually originally had before. We don't know what it is. We're just seeing if we can see it. So go to your hard drive tools and see if it sees it.
Yeah,
because it's not Amiga format. We're going to need to play with the other one. But if we see the SCSI ID, then we know
it's talking to us. Yeah,
we can play with that other drive tomorrow.
Okay, so now it's not in
Tools.
Yeah. So no. Oh, wait, because we can scroll over. There's some other stuff. Here it is. Yeah.
There it is. So it should scan. We should find unit 0, 2, and 3.
Nope, doesn't scan it.
Well, it could be that drive's dead.
Could be the drive's dead, or it could, yeah. I don't,
we don't know. We need to get the other drive that we know works. So we'll play with that later. Just was a quick win. We did find the icon editor. You'll notice my disk over here.
It's got graffiti.
It was in tools. Yeah, we put a little M graffiti on there. He found the editor in, I think it was in utilities.
Yeah, it was in. No, it wasn't in utilities. It was in. I think it was in tools.
Tools. Yeah, I don't remember.
If we scroll, if we go back to the left here.
Yeah. So icon edit. That was the app we used, and we were able to edit the icon. Pretty cool.
You can also edit your pointer too.
Oh, nice.
You can. Yeah, you can
change the size of it.
Well, you can. You can edit it. Where is that? You can change it completely. You can make it a middle finger if you want. Yeah.
Nice. So we're about to try another little test with the Commodore Amiga 2000. We actually have repositioned all the cards to make things spiffy. We went ahead and moved the RAM card back and put the SCSI card here, and we have our SCSI to SD right here, just zip tied with some standoffs to keep it off the SCSI card, and kind of tested everything worked. These are just here placeholder so I don't lose them, and we still have to deal with mounting the floppies. This floppy's mounted, but our Gotec is just sitting here. But as you see, we have now an external hard drive. This is the original drive that was on the SCSI card, and now we've got it tethered to, of course, the external SCSI part of the bus, and we're going to see if it recognizes the drive, and maybe we can copy the old beautiful Amiga software off of there. We'll see. Press the button, Max, as Tony Curtis or Jack Lemmon said to Peter Falk. We know it'll boot, or at least we assume it'll boot. So there's the two drives that were already there. And so far, nothing.
But I did not hear the Mac store. Yeah, remember.
Try to do its thing.
Well, I also didn't hear it. Because remember, it usually goes. Ee.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I did not hear that
ever. Yeah. Check the power, maybe.
That's what I'm looking at now.
All right. So far, no go. All right. Let's try to troubleshoot that, and then we'll try the boot up again. All right. So we rebooted. Let's see what happens. We finally got the drive, but we heard it spin up. I think we need to probably just plug into the internal power supply.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the next thing we do if it doesn't tell us anything here.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
Let's see if it just shows up on the bus. Let's real quick. Which is
our card we just installed.
Right, and there's your Super RAM, right? This, the 2092. That's your serial card. That's your
SCSI card.
That's your SCSI card, and this fast memory is also on the same card, even though it shows up as a separate,
Well, so does the Zorro. All the Zorro 2s.
Yeah, well, Zorro 2 is just the bus.
Oh, I see.
Zorro 2 is just the bus, because you could,
I I thought that card was a Zorro too.
Well, they all are, because they wouldn't fit in the slot if they weren't. Just like Mac had the new bus and the
I got you.
Yeah, and PCs
It's
have
the name of it. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So okay. So let's look at drives. Let's see if it detects anything. Okay. See, this just tells us. Yeah. So DF0, see DF1. It doesn't know anything about that. See, it just goes what the.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then D80. See, it's picking up SCSI.device, which is all that. Okay, let's look at SCSI here. Let's see if it'll tell us anything. Checking SCSI IDs. All right, let's see if it
finds my IDs.
Okay. Okay, so, all right, so this is disk 6.
Interesting.
But the other ones we set to 1 and 2, correct?
2 and 3, I believe.
2 and 3, okay, either way.
Or 1 and 2, because we had 0. Is there a 0?
0 was the other drive.
Yeah, so we may have done 1 and 2.
Right.
Yeah, but there may be a number we need to check. So. Well,
the other thing is they're not. It's not showing up here, but they're not formatted yet either.
Yeah.
I was looking to see if there was something that would pull.
Yeah. The
SCSI bus, and it may be that we may still not be communicating correctly for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So there's we may still be. It's on the bus at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, we basically rebooted, and now we see that it's seeing it when he does a hard drive scan. So let's see what happens.
What I'm noticing is that our storage drive in fact shows itself as changed, and I don't know why.
Maybe the icon?
Okay, let's go ahead and... All right, let's go ahead and...
reboot.
Crank it one more time. And yep, and there it is.
DHO.
So it's there. So that confirms that our external case works. Okay. That confirms that the external SCSI bus works.
It might still be better to use the power of the power supply. Well, we don't know. I mean, if as long as it works, it works. Let's try to get some copying going and get all these goodies off that drive.
Okay, so there are 27 megs in use.
So we can get most of it.
Well, we actually have enough room. The only thing I wouldn't bother with is the actual Workbench 1.3. Actually, yeah, let's just put the whole damn thing onto the storage.
Okay, then I'll have it. Yeah.
So let's see. So
you just close that window and copy the disk, right?
That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So we should just be able to go ahead and do this. We should just be able to pick this, and then go up here to the Workbench and say copy.
And then go
and
to
copy it to. Insert device to copy from. Okay, so
okay. 0, which is already there.
Right, but where's it going to go to? That's what I'm wondering. Okay, actually, let's stop this because this is going to do this isn't going to do a files copy. This is going to try to copy the tracks and sectors, which we don't necessarily
want. It might wipe our boot disk.
Right. So let's cancel that. Okay. So in this case, what we should
open it up, select all.
Yeah, except you don't actually have I don't think you don't.
Yeah, you got rubber band select.
Right, but that may not get things like but that's not going to get things like sys and t and all the things that are not visible. We probably want to do this through.
Utility.
We probably want to do this through I know what we want. Let's see if it's here. It would be nice if he'd please tell me that he had this. Almost everybody has it. Let us go into
shell utilities.
Please tell me you have. You can't see anything. No, it's not there. Let's see if he had it in his tools directory. What is this pointer serial? Copy prefs. No, that was prefs. That's not my. I'm in the wrong one. That's why. Please be there. Please be there.
Just copy at the top.
Yeah, that's the track and sector copy. That's what happens when you actually do that copy. That's what it actually runs. What I was looking for is
what's a quarterback?
That's a backup utility, but that may not be exactly what we wanted. I was looking for specifically for
tools, wizard,
specifically looking for a program called Midnight Commander or something or file man. I mean, basically there is definitely a utility that would, let's see.
So we're looking for this utility. We'll come back when we find some way to copy these files. All right, we are rolling, and so what we did was we just got it copied, And now we're actually getting a full, you know, directory, subfolder, files, everything in that whole thing is now copying. There was actually an error before because there was one file that was named asterisk, which is apparently a no-no on Amiga. So it just stopped there. And so he wiped that drive. I
renamed the file. I renamed it to star.
To star, yeah, STR.
And now it's cheerfully...
Now it's copying everything. And he did change his command. And so... So the command he changed it to is...
It was copy from from the original drive to the storage drive with an all after it. When it gets done, we can do an up arrow and we can actually see the command.
Okay, awesome.
So
we'll let it finish, and when it's done, we'll try to look at that command. So we'll have it for anyone else trying to copy stuff. But you know, I'm new to Amiga, so learning the Amiga ways of navigating the file system is an interesting endeavor. Here is the command that we use to copy everything, the full directory structure. I'll let you see it. Storage. So we basically so the copy from DH0 to DH2 all, space all. But, yeah, of course, I CD'd to the storage drive, which is the name of my drive.
You didn't have to. You could have done it anywhere. I just happened to be there.
Okay, so we could be anywhere and type in that.
Because we gave it specifically from
DHO, which is anything on a DHO to DH2, which is my drive identifier
which is your storage, yeah.
For my storage name.
DHO is your 0 is your
boot drive.
Mac store.
Yeah.
And so basically, we just told it, everything from the starting at the top level of DHO to the top level of DH2, and the all means get everything.
Because this is 1 and 2, I can't remember. Yeah, 1 and 2 is my SCSI to CD, SCSI to SD card, and SCSI 0 is that, and this is named boot, workbench boot, and storage. And that's just what it is, DH0.
And you could have done the exact same thing by doing copy from storage : to, or copy from whatever the name of the original drive was to storage : would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter where I was in my shell.
But you can refer to the drives by anything. You can refer to it by its name or by.
Oh, really? Either one will still find it and still do it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things cool about the Amiga. It's got a little learning curve, but yeah, a little different than what I'm used to. The Atari is what I spend most of my time playing with. Those you just see it, you copy it, done. All right. There's no shell, or at least not easily. So yeah, there you go. That's how we did it, and I think we should now have a copy of everything. So now I can just close the shell, right?
You should be able to. Yeah. You just type N CLI. Yeah.
In CLI.
We'll back up, we'll hit arrow down to get rid of that and just type end CLI.
One word. No space?
No space, all one word.
End and CLI?
CLI is, CLI is command line interpreter.
In command line interpreter.
And boom.
And shell closes.
And now if you go into your storage on your workbench,
see all
you should see all the same stuff that was on the original DH0.
So here's my storage drive.
Yeah.
Now if I were to move that icon, see, there's everything. Let's try to run a couple of things.
Right. It's going to take a little while to okay, there you go. Yeah.
Let's see if we can run some page stream. Us page stream Atari users remember those days.
Did it do it, or did it just drop that? Nope.
Attempting to load program page stream 2.
There it goes.
And there it is. Now we need to get some better video going, but yes. Very fun.
So, where are all my terminals?
Still loading.
This is hard to use.
Fascinating. All right, I'm gonna play with some more software here. So I was just given some more instruction here. So apparently the top menu bar in the apps, you have to right-click to get to all the functions. This is just the way Amigas work. I didn't know. Now I know. New letter, sure. Now I'll get my little template, and we can start doing shapes and things. Nice, look at that. Font. Just put some text. Blah, blah, blah. Look at that. Page stream, baby. And then how do you find your font? Is that on the menu bar?
Yeah. If you go up there, you know.
View or style.
If your buttons are a little funky, but yeah, if you right-click up, you don't actually have to be up there. You can right-click from anywhere.
Oh.
But it's going to be in format, I think.
Format. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done. Change subscript, upper clip,
No,
left, right.
maybe
No,
not. Maybe
text.
it's
Here it is. Text. That's kerning. Style, maybe. Yep.
No.
Fonts and points right there.
Okay, there you go. There. Now,
And now we can pick, you know, what our... And if we move this, I assume we can see what we're getting. I guess it doesn't... You have to just do it. There you go. You have to change it, then you can see what you got. So you have to kind of know your fonts. Very cool. And I imagine we can.
Ha ha ha. Yes, PT, it is working.
Go crazy, baby. Look at that. Amazing. All right, so let's quit.
All right, so now we know how to do. Now we know how to get kernel to actually
Just click anywhere. Yep, it goes bye-bye. So I'm now playing Deluxe Music Player. Just a player. Couldn't get the creation app to work, but it has a few sample files on there. So it's just this little bar, but it's playing.